Greetings and welcome to another video. Today we got the new 6.2 patch notes, and not the preliminary ones, but the final ones, or the complete version. But it's still kinda hard to find, so you will have the link in the description, of course. No camera this time, but more to that later or in another video. Provoke enmity generated has been increased. That's for all tanks, or works for all tanks now. Paladin, basically potency adjustments upwards, so we can see a slight increase for the magical rotation here. You can see Holy Spirit has been increased, Request Card has been increased, Blade of Faith, Truth and Valor have been increased. So yeah, for the big magical rotation, a slight adjustment, which I think was needed because Paladin was falling behind slightly. And the same can be applied to the Warrior. Here we have the base attacks being increased, which might actually be more significant. But on the other hand, it's just a potency increase of 10. So yeah, we'll have to see how much that affects the balancing. But I don't think that it's a bad change. Because yeah, both of these were a bit lacking compared to a Dark Knight, for example. Shake it off, the effect of this action will now be applied more quickly. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. Abyssal Drain on Dark Knight has been increased, so more AoE damage. But Living Shadow now, effect duration has been reduced from 24 to 20 seconds, which is kind of weird, because I hope that at least Living Shadow is summoned faster now, maybe, or to actually start any action, which is quite a long time. I hope that they address that, and the Simulacrum will now always attack the first target the player attacks after it is summoned. Maybe that might be the indication here, but it also doesn't do any Quietus attacks anymore. Simulacrum's Shadowbringer potency has been increased from 450 to 500, and potency of all Simulacrum actions other than Shadowbringer have been increased from 300 to 350 on the other hand. I don't know, it seems like this is a slight nerf because Quietus is no longer be done, and I don't know if it's actually replaced on the rotation. We lose 4 seconds of uptime, but we might get some seconds of uptime because the summon might be more reactive or quicker to be in battle. I don't know. We'll have to see. That's very, very strange change in my opinion. But yeah, maybe a good one. Hopefully. Gunbreaker also has some potency changes here. That's basically due to the fact that Bloodfast recast time has been increased from 90 to 120 seconds, which technically is a nerf, but rounds up the whole cooldown phase and buff lineups much better, because 90 seconds doesn't fit into all buff windows anymore. So yeah, that's actually a good change, and it's compensated by potency increases on nearly all skills. And we also have a higher range now on the cartridge rotation, which is something the more regular Gunbreaker player will like that change as well. Potency has been increased from 700 to 720 on Blasting Zone. Yeah, okay. Reduction in potency after the first target has been changed from 20 to 15, double down, so yeah, more AoE damage or less reduction on the AoE damage. And yeah, on Dragoon, this is something I can make sense of, because actions high jump and jump are now no longer replaced by Mirage Dive while under the effect of Dive Ready. When did that happen? Because last time I played Dragoon, I think Mirage Dive was placed separately on my hotbar. Let me know if that was actually present. It's been a while that I played Dragoon, so last time I did, Mirage Dive was a separate button already. So yeah, now it seems that it's again a separate button. Alright, now to the other melees like the Samurai. We have kinda an AoE buff, I would say. Because, yeah, Hisatsu Guren reduction in potency after the first target has been changed from 50 to 25%, so that's a lot. That's a lot of damage to a whole pack of mobs, for example. And Keshi Goken's also increased, Hisatsu Kyuten is mildly increased, and Tenka Goken is increased by 20, which that's a bit more again, so you always have to see that for AoE damage that's been increased. That counts for every mob, so every target you have, which can be significant. I didn't know that Samurai was lacking in that department, but yeah, good thing to do buffs and nerfs on these aspects as well, because dungeons are a non-insignificant fraction of content in my opinion, still. Especially when we're talking about introduction of these savage dungeons or variant dungeons, which might be the first ever competitive version of dungeons. So yeah, AoE damage might be a thing there. So nerfing and buffing these aspects is not too bad. Reaper, Slice, Waxing Slice, and Infernal Slice have been increased by kinda a lot. Infernal Slice is from 460 to 500. That's kinda a lot. And that's basically single target rotation. So yeah, Reaper has been adjusted in single target damage a bit. The Machinist, we can see some adjustments to the frame, of which, yeah, you could increase the battery gauge upon the normal minimum value to summon the Automaton Queen, which then increases the damage of these attacks. So for example, potency now increases as battery gauge exceeds required cost of time at time of deployment from a minimum of 240 up to a maximum of 480. So basically a double effect here. But on the other hand, the Automaton Queen duration no longer increases to a maximum of 20 seconds and is now fixed at 12 seconds. So they kinda want to change how the Automaton Queen doesn't have a longer duration and uptime, but deal significantly more damage whenever you have more battery gauge than you would have normally when summoning the Automaton Queen, or the minimum of summoning the Automaton Queen, which makes, yeah, buff lineup and timing for the cooldown windows way more significant now. So that's definitely a good thing, and hopefully it will I don't know if that's enough to fix the power issues the Machinist had and the power differences compared to other jobs, but it might be a good start here, because that also seems to work for the auto turret, which now has the base potency reduced, but can increase significantly now when the battery gauge exceeds required cost at time of deployment. So yeah, we'll have to see how that turns out. Hopefully a good one, hopefully something that brings back the Machinist to the higher ranks of damage dealing, which was needed in my opinion. Okay, so White Mage Liturgy of the Bell effect duration has been increased from 15 to 20 seconds, which might affect some, yeah, cooldown phases and lineups for certain damage phases in raiding scenarios especially, but it could also come in handy for the Savage and Criterion dungeons, because yeah, this is a powerful effect, but the triggering mechanic or mechanism is kinda a bit difficult sometimes. So yeah, having a longer duration is definitely not too bad adjustment here. Scholar, on the other hand, only gets enmity generation reduced. Okay, so yeah, I guess Embrace, Seraphic Veil, Fey Union, that was all, yeah, fairy abilities, so the fairy could get aggroed very quickly because fairy just goes rampant on healing whenever you take any damage, and you could not avoid that. So often you had the case where the fairy just died because, yeah, tank was still pulling and fairy was healing already, generated the enmity. Yeah, that's actually a good change, something for the quality of life of a scholar in my opinion. And yeah, that can be said for the Astrologian significantly here. Redraw, the card drawn will never have the same astro sign as the card presently held. This is actually a big change. So redraw makes the whole RNG mechanic basically non-existent anymore, because every time you struggle to draw the right card, you can use redraw now, and it will always give you another astro sign. So you can mix up your arcanum or your signs in the way that you want, or in the way that you're not overlapping any astro sign. So this is a big change. Nevertheless, this is a significant change in a very insignificant line here, in my opinion. Okay, yeah, so Sage Cardia no longer generates enmity when activating its HP restoration effect. So basically the same thing as for the Scholar. Cardia seems to be kind of an effect that you could not hold back. For example, if you buffed one of your party members once, you could not hold back that the effect is triggered, and then yeah, not generating enmity makes sense here. That's definitely a good change. The additional effect of Holos erects a magic barrier which nullifies damage equaling the amount of HP restored has been added with a duration of 30 seconds. Okay guys, I can't make sense of this because I haven't touched Sage Kit at all. But I think that's something, yeah, kinda is a good change it sounds like one. That's all I can say here. Reaper has new traits been added, so Slice, Waxing Slice 260 and Infernal Slice 280. Okay, so basically the potency buff for the leveling phase of 80, starting at level 84. Which kind of walks into accommodation with these changes here, of course. But yeah, that's basically it. I'm really excited about these changes here. I hope that will increase the power level of Machinist significantly, or at least to a level that you're able to hold back the Automaton Queen and your Rook Autotort on low levels, and then you deal much more damage. I hope that this will change it and makes the whole Automaton Queen much more impactful now, because I've always felt this to be a very, it's ready, just click it, it deals damage, that's it, that's fine. You don't have to use your brain to really work that into a rotation. And yeah, some tank changes here. We have to see about the Dark Knight one. That is kind of a mysterious one to me, and we'll have to see if this actually means the Simulacrum will now always attack the first target player after it's summoned, if that means that the summoning phase doesn't take so long anymore and is much more reactionary now. We'll have to see. Good changes. I'm excited for the patch, and of course we will have to test it out in power tests and all that stuff whenever certain things have been patched. And see you around for that one, and sorry for my very blatant language again. I'm trying to improve as always, but these videos, I'm not a native speaker. I'm trying my best, but it's sometimes a bit messy. So thank you still for listening and watching. I have a lot of fun with 6.2, and see you around for more Gil info and other stuff coming very, very soon, this day basically. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep loving Final Fantasy.